We are live and recording. Go ahead.
Excellent.
Bring us in, Betty.
I'm going to bring us in. Let's enter that front door. Look, this is the Masters Monday podcast. We are actually in season 2. This is episode 6 for our wonderful guest that you're going to get to meet in just a second. But the Masters Fitness team, guys, that's who is your host. Chan Ganaway and Carrie Ann Sullivan. I'm actually out of town right now. I'm in Louisiana visiting my family. That's why I have the circa 1965 backdrop here. I'm in actually the guest room of my mother's house right now. So it's been kind of fun for us. But the Masters Fitness team, we have over 50.
Alone.
Oh, come on. And having the time of your life, Michael, I've never seen her so happy in my life. So anyway.
Glowing.
Yeah, she is glowing a little bit. She has 5 days without me. But the Masters Fitness team, we are all about 50 years experience in the industry with consulting and curriculum building as master trainers and training other trainers and working in the boutique space. So we're going to skip all that good stuff. We want to really get to the meat of the matter here, which is our guest, Micheal Scichilone. Hello, Michael.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing wonderful, man. Well, listen, it would be bad of me not to take them back to 2011 when I actually met you. And how I met Michael, everyone, is through the corporate office of Orange Theory Fitness. We were just little babies. It was a year-old company that actually started in 2010 in March. And I came in March of 2011. And Michael was the supplier of the equipment and helped us about the design aspects and everything else. So he was our guy. I mean, literally. Do you remember how many studios before you exited the corporate and just went exclusive Fitness Smith? Do you remember how many we were at?
It was, we did the first 70. We think it was between like 68 and 73 studios before they took it internally and started doing it themselves.
I was guessing 100, so I wasn't too far off. But you're talking about, 2 years, 2.5, maybe even 3 years of growth in what will probably go down as the greatest fitness franchise in the history, right? And really, Michael was an integral part of the logistical part of getting equipment to people in Ohio, in Pennsylvania, in California, you name it. I mean, he was really taking care of that and did an amazing job selling and then installing and servicing, and then all the agreements that come in. But I'm gonna let him talk about what they do as a service. But that's how far we go back. And we just had such a good time really sitting in a meeting room with 20 very anxious and nervous franchisees who probably 80% of them, would you remember, that were not in the fitness industry. I mean, they had no idea.
When Orange Theory started out, a lot of what they were doing is they were catering people who own Massage Envies and European wax spas. Remember that?
because of the CEO and president, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. So Michael and I would co-present at times the fitness equipment package and walked him through. And I mean, we went into the warranties and how it works and what the heck's a BOSU? I mean, it was like we went through some pretty fun presentations. But anyway, Michael, I would like you to take it from here, man. We would love some personal information and then work into the Fitness Smith overview, okay? Take it away.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Micheal Scichilone. I'm the CEO of a company called Fitness Smith. Been in the industry for 26 years now. And I always like to say multifaceted. I think one of the word of the day is always perspective. So I was 24 years old. I moved from New England to South Florida, and I opened up a 15,000 square foot health club. Had never even worked in a gym before. I just went to them as a user and say, oh, that's a great idea. Let's open up a health club. So me and some college friends some college friends, we moved down, and I had to learn the industry. And, did that for 3-4 years. Very proud to say that club is still there today. I've re-equipped it 2 times in the last 20 years. My original business partner, who I moved down with, still owns it. But, that was a huge learning curve, doing everything. And then went into a software company where I was selling Salesforce automation software for health club salespeople. Now, I did this in 1999. The biggest obstacle was trying to get the clubs to buy them a computer. 1999, like, what do you mean? There was a computer at the front desk, one in the accounting office, and that's it.
It's hard to understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And that kind of led me to work for a company called Wellbridge. A lot of people in the industry, you might know of them. They
of course.
2 clubs in 16 states where I designed a Salesforce automation software for them. Now, different perspective. Now I'm working for a big company. Most of their facilities are 100,000 square feet or larger with 23 trainers. And after I rolled out that software for a couple of years, I kind of rolled into running the athletic club Boca Raton, which is now Lifetime Fitness Boca.
Yeah.
And although I had owned and operated a club when that 15,000 square foot club, as many, maybe your clients know, you do everything. When I worked for Wellbridge, I had a PT director, I had a spa director, I had a front desk director, very different skill set that you need. And, what's interesting, I don't know if you know, Chance, so when I took over the club, Boca was always running 1-2 for the second most profitable personal training club in the portfolio. And so back in 2002, set a company record of $120,000 in 1 month of redeemed personal training session, not purchased, redeemed. So you buy a 10-pack for $1,000, you do 2, I can only realize $200. So we had like 18 trainers. So that's kind of how I learned personal training a little bit, because I'm not a trainer. I've always say I'm an expert in the business of fitness. But if you come to me and ask me how to lose weight or not get hurt, don't. I know nothing, 0. But then I worked for a major manufacturer, and I ended up purchasing into Fitness Smith, which was a South Florida service company. And my business partner, Frank Giannone, had the company for 15 years, did repairs. And now we are a boutique fitness equipment procurement, design, sales, and installation company. And so we really try to help out people in the industry, and they come to us in the beginning. And even like with Orange Theory, handling the logistics of all those installs. And we got up where we were installing 4 a week.
Yes.
And there's a lot that went into that, because you're working out the inefficiencies of studio owners, manufacturers, shipping companies, right? There's all that. But I think I take more pride in the fact that having some experience in the industry, that we were the ones that actually came up with the individual dumbbell stations, because we saw that the classes were going to 2 dumbbell racks in the beginning. You have 12 people all going to 1 rack. So we knew that we had to come up with individual dumbbell stations. And Dave Long, the CEO, didn't want a concept 2. So we're like, hey, here's a water rower. Very different. What do you think about this? So there's a lot of things that we kind of put our stamp on at Orange Theory that
you sure did.
Proud of today.
No, you really did. And that's what I mean by when I said 5 minutes ago, the design aspects of it, the layout, the efficiency, because it wasn't a very efficient group training product in the beginning. And with your guys' kind of view of things and your eye, you really helped facilitate what is now, once they hit, I don't know, probably 50 stores, and we had those individual racks. Then everybody went back and got them.
Yeah.
And then you had to install.
We had to go retrofit
those.
them.
Yeah. And then Drew was going crazy, and I remember all that stuff. So what an interesting run, man. Well, look, you are really A to Z, and it is, you can go ahead and tell them your tagline right now. Go ahead.
So we always say, either there's 2 things. So I always say
Wikipedia part.
Yeah. So that's right. So with Fitness Smith, I'll say Fitness Smith is your 360-degree fitness equipment solutions partner. Yes. And then on my LinkedIn profile, I'll say the human Wikipedia of all things fitness. And that comes from really having a lot of perspective. I owned and operated a personal training Pilates studio where my wife did the Pilates, and Sonia Frenuel, a lot of you might know Sonia, she was our partner. She ran the personal training side. And once again, the word of the day is perspective, because running a boutique studio, running a 100,000 square foot athletic club, selling equipment for a manufacturer, it's all different. We're all in the same industry, but the challenges are super unique depending on where you find yourself.
No question about it. I think I have a third one for you, the fitness renaissance man. So I think that's actually not a bad one, Michael. That just hit me right now. Okay, you can take that one, and you can run with that one if you want.
I'll take it.
No, it's a phenomenal overview, dude, and I really appreciate that. And I know that Carrie's got some stuff for you as we kind of take you into the business aspects.
Yeah. So I'm kind of interested. It's been a crazy year, right? I mean, we could just go ahead and just say that right now. So January 2020, you go into the new year, which in the fitness industry, it's our busy time, right? It's like Santa's Christmas, it's January's personal trainers, right? So what did January through March look like, and what were the trends at that time pre-COVID, and what was the demand?
Yeah, so we were getting ready to almost double the size of our company measured by revenue. So we had a saying, we were kind of chasing a goal, and we were literally having, and as you guys know, as an entrepreneur, business is always up and down. Never, it's never like the hockey stick. And so we've been changing team members, adding locations. Fitness Smith has salespeople in Southern California, New England, Buffalo, New York, six or seven in Florida, and trying to kind of really growing. And ironically, Chan, I use all the logistics knowledge from Orange Theory.
Yes.
So now we primarily work with multifamily developers building Class A luxury residential, student housing, senior housing, where we really help them. And all the stuff we did for OT in the beginning, now I can do those installs. So it all comes back. Yeah. But, Carrie, to answer your question, is we were literally trending like January, February, March. My book business, the amount of business I took off the street was literally double of what it was the year prior. So we were doing double the numbers year over year, which was great. So, and then COVID hit, right? So, and everything stopped. So Fitness Smith, and I kind of mentioned quickly, our heritage is a service company. Frank started as a service company, basically doing equipment repair, preventive
That's
maintenance.
what I remember. Yes.
Right. And most service companies around the country will have 3 to 5 technicians. If you're on the larger side, 5. We now have 17. We have 17 technicians all in the state of Florida. And it was a learning curve to grow that. They immediately, when COVID started, they closed the gyms. Every fitness amenity space, every boutique studio. So I had to furlough 12 technicians, which I've never had to do like that. We had just had our annual kickoff meeting talking about, what our goals were, and it just all stopped.
Oh my God.
It was crazy. I'm really positive, right? So I'm always looking on the positive side. Don't worry, guys. So I had to make the decision on furloughing 12 of the 17 techs. And I said, listen, my primary goal as leader of Fitness Smith is to ensure that we're still here on the other side of this. Because we didn't know, right? We didn't know, would we exist? Yeah. We have 47 full-time employees at the beginning of COVID. And we're saying, okay, are we going to exist? So it was really, as you go through it, we did get our PPP money. We took all the technicians back. Although they still had nothing to do, we basically threw them in the warehouse and their inventory, organizing, doing a bunch of things, right?
We'll do something for you.
Never had time to do. So that's a blessing. I remember talking to Felicia Shields, our COO at Fitness Smith, going, this is amazing. We have all the team back and time to actually do things we've never had time to do before.
Right. So is that kind of going to be a surge in another direction of where Fitness Smith is going now post-COVID? I mean, now COVID's hit. What now? Where does that change your course a little bit or your business plan? I mean, how does that work?
I think pivot, right? I was using the word pivot a lot. Everyone has to pivot. So for Fitness Smith, we came up with a program called Disinfect and Protect, which was, it's a 2 chemicals, right? One is Pure Tabs, which is a disinfectant that kills COVID-19. And another one is called GS75 by a company called Gold Shield. Now, what we were trying to do is going, all right, we want to be able to spray and disinfect, but it can't affect treadmills. It can't affect electronics, right? So we can't use anything that's bleach-based or acidic in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
And then there's hundreds of disinfectants that do the job, but in a fitness amenity space, the minute someone walks in and gets on the treadmill, a new person is no longer disinfected.
Right.
So GS75 is a residual antimicrobial surface protectant that once applied creates a covalent bond and continues to kill for up to 90 days. So
beautiful.
Neat little story. A guy I've known in the industry for 15 years who had access to it, who called me. Funny how things happen. And so that's what we pivoted, and that's what our service department is doing now. because Fitness Smith mostly works with developers that are doing multi-housing
Mhm.
of some sort, our sales team limped along because they were continuing. It wasn't like we only sell to boutique studios or dues paying fitness clubs. We've really branched out. So it was a little bit of a blessing that way. But, you know, we probably $150,000 a month in billable service revenue went to zero, right? And so we had to pivot. And so I think what I'm starting to see and what you'll see post-COVID a little bit when it comes to boutique studios is Orange Theory did such a phenomenal job, and they're really the gold standard. And there really hasn't been a second. Like, so for every McDonald's, there's a Burger King. For Starbucks, there's Dunkin' Donuts. For Orange Theory, there's a lot of good players, but there's not that big one yet.
Right.
And I'm thinking that the people who started to try to create that alternative, who are good companies, will continue. But I think a lot of the smaller boutique facilities are going to have a really rough time,
Right.
you know, getting through this.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I think
20% closure, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Michael. I mean, I hate it. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if they're your competition or not. It's just an industry hit that just kind of, if you've been in it a little while, it just hits you right in your heart, you know? The way these people have worked so hard to kind of to build this thing up. Well, did the disinfectant and all of that piece of your business, did it shove you back into the big box a little bit, or did you kind of stay small?
You know, it's funny because most of what we try to do is just be a resource. It's, you know, we're not a cleaning company,
right?
But you know, it was a way to we have thousands of preventative maintenance contracts. 94 of them are Orange Theories in the state of Florida. And most of the Orange Theories came up with their own protocol, but there's a few where either we'll go in and spray, but we wanted to come up with different ideas saying, hey, we can sell you a handheld electrostatic sprayer, sell you Pure Tabs, and before each and every class, you can go in there, takes 5 minutes to dry, and you can spray. And you have not only it's disinfected, you have the optics of it, people feel safe. But, you know, we did a couple test studios, and Pure Tabs is chlorine based. So remember, like a pool, it has that little bit of that smell. So we realized you can't do it 10 minutes before class. So all these things are just learning. Right. Really just, you have to learn. But if there's, you know, if I can help one customer get open and come up with a solution, then it was worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, Carrie, imagine that. The detail, you're a manager in a studio, right?
Right.
The details of something drying in 5 minutes. That's humongous information.
I mean,
right?
I'm in that moment. Like,
I mean, so Carrie runs, yes, Carrie runs a cycling program, indoor cycling program, Schwinn bikes. They're beautiful. It's a great studio. But these little details, I mean, people that are listening to this podcast, whether you're an owner, an investor in a club, or a manager, or director, I mean, all this stuff matters because it gets you back to doing what you love to do and income for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Quicker.
We can get back to normal. But yeah, when you say pivot, I do think of Friends, like going up the stairwell with the couch, pivot, you know, like, yep, that's what
and
going.
And you know what? That's funny. That's funny because you're walking the couch at the stairs. You're learning along the way if what you just did is going to work or not.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but we're all kind of doing it.
You have to. And Chen, you mentioned, you know, with disinfectants, like I had to learn some things. Like if it says 1 minute kill time, that means you have to apply the product. You have to wait a full minute before wiping it off. So if you spray it and wipe it off, you did not give it a chance to do its job.
And I go back to your manager hat, Michael. If your staff doesn't understand that and have discipline around it, it's worthless. You know what I mean? Like there's so many details, you know, that the industry is learning and doing and executing. And the members, you know, it's not good or bad, but the members just have no idea how much energy goes into getting these things safe for them. You know what I mean? It's really incredible. So listen, we want to pivot right now. So listen close. You got a crystal ball. It's the Scichilone crystal ball. Okay. Maybe it's one of your grandmother's meatballs. I don't know. But what's happening in the fitness industry in 2021? Do you foresee trends next year? Is there anything fading away? I know we did speak about the smaller, kind of almost independent boutiques having a really difficult time. Do you see any trends going into January?
It's funny. There's a couple thoughts there, right? So I think, I've heard a lot, they say anywhere between 20 to 30% of fitness business, regardless if you're a boutique,
Period. Right.
a neighborhood gym, a 15,000 square foot box will close. And I think that unfortunately probably has some legs. And often, much like 2007 and 8, right, the last kind of big correction, right, that was a financial correction. This one is not financial, but it's going to lead into one. So, we have sat on some calls and people have asked questions like, well, hey, are you going to start designing your fitness amenity spaces differently? You can design things with 6 feet apart. And our feeling was this. We were like, no. Fitness Smith believes that generally, I have the thought process of there will be some type of vaccine. I don't know if it's 6 months or 16 months, but eventually be a vaccine. And then that will calm people. And especially here in the US, Americans tend to have a short kind of memory. And then things will quickly go back to normal.
I agree.
So I think in all things, there is an opportunity. So I think right now, up until COVID, if you wanted to open a boutique studio, good luck going to find space. There is no place to find it.
No.
Rents are through the roof. You're paying $30, $40, $50 a square foot. And now, like anything, I think in 2021, there'll be opportunity because there'll be spaces, great locations that are open. A lot of the big boxes are vacating. So, Gold Gym Corporate closed, I think it was 30 locations.
What a story, huh?
Right. LA Fitness, kind of, rumors, they sent a letter to all their landlords. We're not going to even pay rent until January. And if you need to evict us, evict us. There are going to be lots of companies that do some type of bankruptcy, reorganization to close clubs or locations that weren't profitable. And then they're on the other side of it, they're left with their profitable clubs. And that will all, I believe, come with opportunity. Now, I don't know how slow, like if COVID comes back again during the winter months, it could be really, really scary. But I choose to be optimistic about all this and say, okay, you can't, the things that you can't change, why worry about it? If you're dealt 3 cards, work with those 3 cards.
Yeah, but we don't have the option, to your point, we don't have the option of just completely hitting pause, for 6 more months. Like that's truly not an option economically, not only for people, but just the country, right? So if that's not an option, that's completely 100% not. So you have to kind of go about it cautiously. But then again, as you're saying, Michael, it's almost like cautious, but business as usual. Would that be a fair statement for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we're talking with the pivot, meaning you're going to have to clearly communicate what you're doing to protect your members. If you're doing things behind the scene and you don't tell like if you're using a chemical like GS75 from Gold Shield and you don't advertise it, well, then you're not going to get the benefit of that.
Right.
Even if you
missed
tell
opportunity.
Your staff, like tell your staff to clean 4 times a day when maybe they would just clean in the morning and at night. Well, and post those, tell them exactly what time, post those times, because there'll be certain members that go, oh, I know they're going to clean at 3, so I'm going to go to the 4 o'clock class or whatever it might be. I just think that it's about communication. It's funny. One thing, and I didn't say this, but one thing that happened to Fitness Smith that I never thought, Fitness Smith is a 98% B2B. The amount of home gyms that we did in March and April were insane.
I was just about to ask that. I was literally like, so now it's just coming up with an idea of putting all of an equipment that you want personally in your home, put the order in a big box, shows up, and you got a small box gym.
By the way, how jealous are you and I, Carrie, over the last 2 months? Because here's our situation, Michael, before you answer the question about the home gym stuff. So Carrie and I are in Florida, kind of beachside, apartment living, 2nd floor. Our gym in the condominium complex is closed. Like we don't have a garage. Like, dude, we are so screwed on this thing, and we're watching all these people with these mega little crazy gym garages, and we're being so jealous. So anyway, back to your question, how is that business for you, dude?
Yeah, and it's funny, we weren't, and this could be good or bad. Like, I think this is I guess, the lesson learned. So Fitness Smith could have pivoted and went all into that business.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we didn't, ironically. We sold by referral to friends and family. Obviously, we can get just about anything made, within reason. So we can get the barbells, plates, kettlebells, all that stuff. We can set you up at a home gym. We can design a home gym, and we did it. But we're not really set up for it. Like, if you guys came in and bought a barbell and two 45-pound plates and some kettlebells, it's a 35-minute process. I need to enter in the system, create an opportunity, convert the opportunity to an estimate, then convert the estimate to an invoice. We don't even have a cash register, right? None of that. So we did it. It was insane. But our pivot was really the disinfect and protect, and to continue to go out there and work in that way. But for your customers, and they can't open, I've seen a lot of great trainers go live, right? And go on social. Right. And, the thing with social is it really expands your reach, but do you have the patience to continue at it? Like we're in season 2.
Yeah.
But, and you don't know how many people might watch the first one or the second one, but if you keep on doing them, eventually you will build your audience, and then you will build the platform.
Yes. I think there is, that attractability takes a lot of patience and many months if you really want to make a decent living at that, in that style of a career, kind of shooting all virtual. It's not a 90-day process. You know what I mean?
Virtual, that's really kind of the kind of segue into what I wanted. And I know that, Chan, you have another question, but this kind of leads right into it. Virtual space, you're not really going into the private sector so much, but do you see a higher demand for boutique studios that want to be able to, go virtual, like, online stuff, and then have the ability to do both in a brick and mortar and then also on demand, and how does that work? That's the thing. Orange Theory couldn't very well just put they have to do a boot camp. They can't put their gym in a box, but could they, could they? And so that's one of my questions of that. So,
well, virtual is crazy, right? And so it's interesting. When we're doing design, one of the things that we've been implementing more and more is these virtual products. And when I say virtual products, I'm talking about the Echelon group cycle, which is, for most people, they know Peloton, but there's competition. So Echelon's one. There's the mirror, and then the Echelon Reflect 50, where the mirror, you see yourself, you see the trainer, you can pick the class, you can control the background music, and you take basically a class, and you're right there. That's going to a point where you're going to be able to set an appointment with a trainer. And a trainer will come on at 3:00. You'll see them, they'll see you, they're in a mirror.
Right.
You'll have all your toys, your dumbbells and kettlebells, whatever you need, and you'll be able to start doing some of that stuff.
Right.
What's happening on the business side of that, though, is everyone's coming up. I think the subscriptions, I've been telling Echelon, in Mirror, and there's so many other ones, Les Mills Virtual Bike, the Espresso. These are all interactive products that have a monthly subscription. I go, you're going to subscription these businesses out of business eventually.
Yeah.
But, that's their business model pre-COVID. So they're going to have to pivot.
Right. Exactly. Well, I think, everybody's kind of, just clamoring for this free-for-all in a sense. Like, the fitness space is kind of, we're homeless in some way, like trainers, and now it's weird, and classes are half capacity, and the energy's shifted a little bit. Even though they're grateful to be there, it's not the same, and I don't think it will be for a while. But it's good to know that there are businesses like yours that are really pivoting in the right way to make members and staff feel good about the space that they're in, which is really ultimately, at the end of the day, where we're going to be able to come back to some normalcy. We're kind of running out of time, so I definitely want to wrap up by making sure that we get the right information of how, if you are a business owner, boutique owner, where can people find you? And but what is the best way to find you? You have a website.
Yeah, we have a website, and that's www.fitnesssmith.com. And I always say it's one word, two S's. Everyone's gonna do fitness and then Smith together.
Yeah.
It's two S's, not three.
Got it.
I'm easy. I'm ms@fitnesssmith.com. I'm also on LinkedIn and Instagram, and you'll find me under usually Schick Fitness Smith, SHIC. And
put it all out there for everybody.
All out there, and really through you two, anybody can kind of get a hold. And I think one of the things that I resonate so much with the two of you is that you're out there doing this to offer value to anyone, really. If you can help someone, and then they can go then either start a business or run their business better. I've seen you do that. Be a better trainer. Can the trainer resonate with the members better based on your experience? That's why I think we all get in this industry is that camaraderie, and that's why I think it will come back. I don't think home fitness is going to stay. Everyone has had the ability to work out at home forever.
Right.
And then now they're doing it now, and eventually they're going to find that they're going to get tired of working out by themselves or with the same one person every day.
They're not.
Or they're horrible homeschool teachers. Horrible.
Yeah, correct.
No, I'm just kidding.
Correct.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
You know what, Michael? The podcast in this specific season too, and I really appreciate you saying that very much, because what we wanted, and the way I truly feel about it, and Carrie can speak up for herself, but the veterans in the industry, the Micheal Scichilones, the Carries, the Chans, people like us, we have to lead through this process. I really do. You're always going to have, the younger generation in the social media and the virtual stuff, and that's going to drive them wild, and they're going to gravitate to that. But I think there's a lot to learn for the value piece that you mentioned from the veterans in the industry that can kind of be a calming force. And I would imagine that we don't have time, but you get a lot of phone calls just to kind of calm people down and let them know that everything's going to be okay with their install, and, the logistics is going to be fine. I mean, I would imagine you spend a lot of time being that veteran experience resource for people. And that's really what we wanted to do with season 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's all you could do.
that's perfect. And Micheal Scichilone, we need to spend more time. We're in the same state.
Bravo.
So we need to see more of each other and your beautiful family. I just wanted to kind of close things up with everybody can find us on our YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook, find us individually on LinkedIn as well. And yeah, we're here as resources. We're the pioneers. I feel like we've kind of led the way from, from step aerobics to boutique fitness studios where we are now. And it's an honor to have you on today. Thank you.
No.
And
Do I have 30 seconds, Carrie? Do I have 30 seconds?
Make it 30.
Okay. Michael, you're Italian, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What was your favorite Italian meal growing up? Come on.
Broccoli Rob.
Get out of here. I did
Broccoli
not see
Rob.
that
Side
coming.
of good broccoli Rob.
I did not see that coming, man. All right. Hey,
All right.
we love you. Take
Awesome,
care of yourself.
guys. Take care.
All
God
right.
bless.
Thank you.
Bye.